How you see that and why you think it's so important.
Well, Bruce, this is a very important program for us because in my role as Innovation Commissioner, my role is to try and to look at investment into British Columbia, encourage that, and to encourage that through investment from the federal government and internationally. And the Smart Cities program brings together both the federal government and the international side as well. And some of the smart cities that we've seen in the past have been in other parts of the world, so we can learn a lot from them.
And I don't want this to sound overly self-serving, but this whole thing would not have happened without South Island Prosperity Project. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I think the area is an interesting one, smart cities, and it's interesting that it's coming through Infrastructure Canada. And of course, in my role, I support all of the British Columbia proposals that have gone in. And now we know there are 3 finalists, which is great. So that's Surrey, Vancouver, it's Richmond, and Greater Victoria, which is the South Island Prosperity Project. So that's great.
What do you think it was about the proposal that got SIPP into the top 10?
Well, I think that if you look at the proposals that have been approved, they generally are a combination of really dealing with social issues and areas that they would like to improve on, coupled with technology. And that technology is based on data. It's collecting data and using data in the best way, but it's not being driven by data. It's being driven by whatever the goals are for mobility, inclusion, and all these areas which are important for smart cities.
And just one quick final question. You were actually part of one of the subcommittees. Tell me what the favorite part for you was, or for you the best part, the most compelling part when you were involved with that project going forward?
Well, I think, Bruce, the fun thing for me was coming when we as a family moved from Vancouver to Victoria a couple of years ago, and it was trying to find people who were interested in what Victoria was going to look like. We could see through Vancouver significant changes in the last 30 years, partly because of the tech industry. And that's beginning to happen in Victoria. So the Smart Island Prosperity Project, or South Island Prosperity Project, really brought together people who are interested in that future. And that's exciting.
Anything else you'd like to say?
That's good.
Okay, thank you. Well done. Thanks very much for being a part of the Innovation Challenge.
Island Savings has been part of the South Island communities for over 65 years. Our purpose for existing.
Yeah, just talk to Bruce.
Do you want Bruce?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
thanks.
Probably there.
There, thank you.
Talk to me or talk to the
parking
or the police sign on top of my head or something.
Yeah.
This is all
Talk to the birdie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still go.
Anyway, yeah, so why did Island Savings step up for that?
Island Savings has been part of the South Island community for over 65 years. Our purpose as a cooperative credit union is to serve our members and to try and raise up the communities we work in. So when we saw the alignment of innovation that serves community needs by community citizens, we were excited to be part of that.
So how does that align, that whole innovation thing, with the rest of the community outside of what Island Savings is doing? I mean, this is a community-wide thing, right?
Yes. A lot of innovation this day seems to be adopted by tech startups. They believe they own that space. And what we were excited about was that community citizens can have a big play in innovation. They can be responsible for making their communities better, and we really like that.
Why are you a member of South Island Prosperity Project? Why did Island Savings join?
We joined the South Island Prosperity Project because we believe it has a tangible opportunity to improve facets of the communities we work in. Things like personal health, transportation, opportunities in affordable housing. Those are all aspects that we've been big proponents of and participants in the South Island for many years. So the alignment is a natural fit for us.
What's been the favorite part for you so far? What's the part that kind of gets you all tingly and going, yeah, this is what this is all about? What's been that so far for you?
We love the South Island Smart Innovation Challenge. To see people come forward with really original ideas, but not just ideas, but things that they've taken with other community. Let's try again here.
Sorry. Oh, good. You're doing really well.
Yeah,
it's
thanks.
Monday morning.
Yeah.
Not even 9:30.
I didn't even get in that lineup.
Oh, yeah, you can go to the liquor store yet, for God's sake.
We were definitely excited to be part of the Smart South Island Innovation Challenge. It brought people forward that not only had ideas, But they'd taken the idea somewhere already. They'd made connections to other community groups to really flesh those out, to see them present them in a forum that we had was fantastic. We were overjoyed to be a part of that.
Cool. Anything else you'd like to say that I didn't ask you?
Get involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how does this whole thing align with the community?
Island Savings is a community-based credit union. Our purpose to exist is to serve our members and the communities that they work in. And that's completely aligned with the mission of the South Island Prosperity Project. So we want to be a part of that. We want to contribute to the fabric of how we increase and improve. Just about there.
That was right, though. That's good. You can still cut things together.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe we want to take a shot at it again?
Yeah.
Let her go. You don't want to-
Island Savings, being a community-based credit union, has a single purpose, and that's to serve our members the best way we can, and that includes raising up the communities that we work in. That is completely aligned with the South Island Prosperity Project's mission. So we want to be a part of that with other organizations to make sure we can make these communities as strong as they can be.
Bingo.
Beautiful.
You give good clip.
You give good clip. Yes, you do. Good job. Thank you. Important to you.
It's important to us and our council and our community here. You know, if I could say it in a few words, it would be because it made sense to us to be a part of South Island Prosperity Project and embrace the collaboration and the networking, mentorship that can happen through everybody being involved in this region of ours.
Yeah. What's been the part that's interested you personally the most, whether it's through you for your people or just you as the guy? Oh. Sort of, if there's one thing that sort of connected a little bit? Exercise class or something?
No, I think they're putting the music on because they're cleaning up in there.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we had the Indigenous graduation here last week, so
Oh, how was that?
it was good.
Nice.
It's been held here the last few years, so it's good.
It's an amazing place. Anyway, yeah. What's had resonance for you? What sort of stuck out in the last year or so for you with South Island Prosperity?
Well, again, I think it gets back to being able to be at a table with multiple stakeholders in this region and being able to have that engagement around seeing what's going on in the broader context of our region, but also being able to share what we as Songhees Nation are doing around economic development and ventures here in our territory. You know, so that's what it's been for us is, you know, we realize the importance here of, you know, working with our neighbors and all in our region here. You know, so that's what it really is to us, is to be able to have a seat at the table and share in those discussions.
You've shown great leadership for this organization, the element that you and that your people play in this organization. It means a lot to SIPP. What does it mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to our council, first and foremost. You know, it was brought to us when SIPP was being created and people were reaching out, you know, and our council fully embraced it, you know, so it means to our people and our council, it means a lot to be asked to be involved in something like this, you know, not only asked, but to be full partners in that engagement process.
This whole process was not as easy before this organization happened because there wasn't that collaboration in place at all. It's made a big difference, really, hasn't it?
Oh, I fully believe it has, you know, and again, having multiple stakeholders, you know, I think we're pretty unique in this region to have so many municipalities and First Nations all living together, you know, but before, you know, you were reaching out to individuals and individual municipalities, and I think this creates the synergy to have everybody speaking to each other and engaged in that process.
Cool. Is there anything you'd like to say that I didn't ask you?
No, I think just, again, you know, I think it's time for something like this, and, you know, we're very happy to see that South Island Prosperity Project has been embraced by most people in our region, and, you know, I understand there's some that haven't gotten on board yet, but, you know, as we move forward in the process, you know, I think it'll open the door to others to come and be involved, and, you know, we at Songhees Nation are proud to sit with stakeholders, as they're called in our region, you know, and we'll bring other nations into it hopefully also. You know, we're pretty lucky to live where we live, and everybody's here and, you know, doing their own thing, but at the same time having that discussion for the betterment of all in our region. So, you know, I look forward to the next little while and see how it unfolds and bringing more people into South Island Prosperity Project.
Thank you. Perfect.
Good.
The band's on the peninsula already in there.
Yep.
And we're trying to connect now with, the way is that it's a non-hosted video.
Yeah.
It's other people talking about SIP. And it'll just
Yeah.
flow
Okay.
with the ideas
Okay.
all together.
Okay. Good.
So why does the Harbour Authority feel it important to be a part of SIP, to be at the table?
Well, when we were approached when SIP was just forming, we were thrilled and happy to be a founding member of SIP. We believe it's really important because anything we do in this region, it's all about collaboration. And we really have to rely on each other, work with each other, and we see SIP as being that catalyst to help us all kind of communicate and collaborate together as we really try to develop the economy of the South Island.
And so far, it's been pretty good.
So far, it's been very good, and we're really pleased with the progress that SIP has made. If I can be selfish for a moment and talk about Harbour Authority, you know, we are just putting the final touches on a huge development at Ogden Point, which is really going to transform a lot of the business and a lot of the business opportunity. And as we work through that process, we've reached out to SIP, and we see SIP as being a key part of that in helping us to develop and gain interest for the development of that site.
Let's wait for the plane, because it's going to get really loud shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you back to the island for a long weekend, or just a quick
Go up Friday, a quick trip. Go up Friday, come back Monday.
Monday?
Yeah, you know, 2 full days.
Yeah.
This is the time when you got to take advantage of it, when the weather's nice. And,
Were you here for the tea party, or were you away that weekend?
Way, yeah.
So there's something else going on. Somebody called a meeting of some kind. Oh, I don't know. The United Way. We got called into a cabinet meeting, a United Way board cabinet meeting
Okay.
at 4:30 on Friday afternoon on that weekend.
Oh my God.
What
What is this all about?
What's
Is
that?
someone pulling a joke? Yeah.
No, it was the only. Just about. How often are you on one of these?
Oh, a couple of times a month. Back to Vancouver.
I love them.
I do too. I prefer this to Helijet, actually.
To which?
To Helijet. I prefer this because you
Yeah.
fly a little lower and
Exactly.
you get the real sense of
You can
things.
actually see out the
Flew
window.
over 2 weekends ago. I forgot how nice a ride it
Yeah.
is.
Here we go.
Okay.
Going. We're already rolling.
So part of what SIP is doing right now, of course, is the Smart Cities program as well, and you talk about your Ogden Point development. That's all aligning with this whole smart way of thinking, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and you know, not just from an environmental perspective, but also how we manage and how we develop that site. So there's a lot of similarity and parallels to the Smart City project and Ogden Point.
And I want to go back to the collaboration for a minute. It's really important to have as many people who are stakeholders at the table as possible. And that's where the effectiveness comes from, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's incredibly effective and incredibly important to have all the stakeholders at the table together. And we see that in our own operation and how we get things done, because while we're called the Harbour Authority, we're not really the authority. We own property, we own land, but it's important for us to collaborate with other stakeholders in the harbour, much the same model that SIP is following.
How has it helped the organization, GVHA? How has SIP assisted you in what you do every day?
Well, I think, you know, so far I think for us it's been more important to support SIP as they get going. But as we look down the road and look down the future, and especially with the development at Ogden Point, we believe SIP is going to become more and more integral and more important for us as we move forward. But for GVHA, it's been about supporting SIP as they get going, because we can see the long-term potential, not just for GVHA, but for the South Island.
Final question, what's been your favorite part of your relationship with SIP? Has been something happened, or an announcement, or just some part of the moving parts? What's been the one that's resonated most with you?
Okay, I got to think about that.
Start the Jeopardy clock on that, and we'll get that.
Yeah.
And if there's no answer, that's fine. Some people had an answer and some didn't.
You know, Bruce, again, it's I think when you feed that question to me again, it's really going to be about the best part is being able to watch SIPP grow and develop, and knowing that we were a part of helping to get that going. Because I gotta be honest, our involvement with SIPP has been pretty low, right? And that's been by design. There's really not been anything that we've needed, but we've been briefing them around Ogden Point, and as I think we get closer to that, that's where we're going to where we will see the real benefit of SIPP. So if you want to feed that to me again.
Big check too, is that?
Pardon?
Yeah, so you write a big check.
Yeah, okay.
But that's not going to continue either, but we're not here to talk about that. So, one thing that has stuck out with you as the highlight or the high point of being involved with SIPP?
Well, I think the highlight for me and for us as an organization is watching SIPP grow from what was an idea to now, they're moving ahead and getting a lot of things done and really, I think, charting the course for economic development for the South Island. That's been the best part of all of this, and being at the table at the beginning and contributing and helping to get them go. And I think that for me and for us as an organization, for our board, has been the most satisfying part of watching this process.
Sorry, one other quick thing. You're in the transportation business, and transportation is the key plank in the whole Smart Cities platform. It's all about transportation. Transportation is integral to growth here, isn't it?
Yeah, transportation is going to be very, very key. And as I look around the harbor, what really is the common thread is transportation. Yes, it's tourism, but it's transportation, whether it be cruise ships, whether it be Helijet or Harbour Air or Harbour Ferries or Clipper or Coho. The common thread with all of that is transportation, and it's the harbor.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
We're announcing a new member this week, actually. Okay, so we think that what SIPP is doing is increasing a little bit of the international profile, or at least pointing out to people that this is a good place to do business from anywhere in the world. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, well, Babcock is an international engineering service company, and we rely heavily on good, qualified, experienced talent. So this is a great place for us to be. We're able to recruit those people. There's two good academic institutions that we work very closely with, the University of Victoria and Camosun College. And it's really vital to us that we're able to get those young engineers as well as more experienced people in this great part of the world.
So that's sort of a collaboration in a global, international world market, but the collaborative model that we have in place for South Island Prosperity Project works on a local basis. How important is that collaboration?
Well, all employers and organizations have the same problems. So it's really helpful if we can get together and share our experiences and network and apply our collective capacity to try and find solutions to some of the issues that we all face.
So that kind of leads to the other question, which is why did Babcock see it as a fit to join in SIPP? You kind of explained that, but what's another answer to that? Why did you feel that you wanted to join?
Well, it's apart from it being a great networking opportunity, of course, with other companies and individuals, it's also part of our corporate social responsibility. We have a responsibility to this region as an employer, so we need to put back and make this place successful. And of course, it's a two-way street, to put it simply. If South Island is successful, then we're successful. So why wouldn't we?
Right. So here's where we go off script.
Okay.
Since you've been involved with SIPP, what's been your favorite thing, or what's one thing that's had terrific resonance with you?
I think there's great energy from the leadership team there, and some of the quality of the material that's being produced is very high. And I think it's getting people's attention that this is serious. This isn't a game. These people are serious, and they're passionate about making this area of the island more prosperous than it currently is. And we all know the challenges that South Island has and the reputation that it has. We all want to change that, and there's a bit of work to be done in a number of areas, as we well know.
And one more off script. In alignment with this Smart Cities project that SIPP is leading right now, aligns with Babcock in some ways too, but tell me why that's a fit with you and why the Smart South Island program matters.
Well, the application of technology in particular is a core to Babcock's business. So the application where it's associated with some of the issues that we're dealing with in terms of transportation and health and environment, that's absolutely in tune with what we're trying to do as well. So we're fully supportive of that.
want to talk about that I didn't ask you?
We'll talk about the weather. Or
The weather's outstanding. You have new neighbors?
We have new neighbours. There seems to be an extra tent there every day, which
there?
is quite nice. Yeah.
But that's really...
That's
is there
fine.
anything else
Well, if
you
you've
wanna-
got enough from that, if you can edit
That's
something
perfect.
from that.
Yep, because we're aligning with a bunch of other people with similar questions and some
Okay.
a little bit different. So Sherry Bell, the Camosun president.
Yeah.
David Screech is the mayor of View Royal. Dan Roshinsky from Esri.
Yep.
John Nappett, Nappett Construction. Maureen Sawa is the CEO of the library. Kerry Slavins is the editor of Douglas Magazine. Lisa Helps, Mayor of Victoria. Ann Baird is a councillor in Highlands. Jamie Castles, president of UVic. Alan Winter, the innovation commissioner. Brian Mavro, who's with Island Savings, he's their innovation VP. They sponsored the innovation challenge. We're all ready. Look at us go. So this whole SIPP thing we have going on is this collaboration model that really kind of works, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the value in that collaboration?
It's been really exciting being part of the South Island Prosperity. The model based on collaboration is what we need in order to move forward any project in this region. So bringing together those like-minded, smart, creative minds, all the advocacy groups we need in order to advocate for that strong regional growth is what's going to help us succeed in achieving that successful, sustainable, and smart South Island.
So the whole SMART thing, of course, is largely based on transportation and how that provides solutions. So how can transportation and how will transportation get smarter?
Well, smart city, smart transportation. If you look at, the goal of what a smart city could be in terms of livability, affordability, workability, all of those things are needed through transportation networks. One can't come without the other. And so looking at transportation and ways that we can make transit smarter, transportation smarter, all modes of transportation improvements are going to help push forward the ultimate goal of having that smart South Island.
Because better transportation is one of the keys to being smarter. And we can't be smarter without better transportation. So how do those, without repeating what you said, how do those two go together?
It's when I think about a smart transportation model, I look at it as like the future being a mobility, an ecosystem of transportation solutions. People are going to want to take transportation modes, different types, biking, walking, cycling, transit, freight movement, car movement, and all of those to integrate are going to need technology. So integrating trip planning information, travel planning, looking at fare technology and making sure that systems can integrate. All those different types of technology-based solutions are going to help make that customer experience better. We can hopefully make travel more productive and then look at improving the actual air quality that we produce through smarter transportation.
Yeah. So you've been involved for quite some time now in different capacities through South Island Prosperity. What's been your favorite part? What's been that, if there's one thing that sort of resonated or struck you and you went, shit, that's really neat, what would that be?
Do I get to swear too? No, I'm just kidding.
Please do.
The energy around this table, the optimism and the enthusiasm for being the belief that we are going to do this and that there is the right momentum around the table right now. We have the right people around the table, that there is a desire and a collective belief that this is going to not just be a shelf project, that we are going to do something through the South Island Prosperity.
Positive changes in the future, I think, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you want to say? That you want to add to this?
I can link together economy and transportation.
Oh, yeah, go for that.
Okay.
So tell me about
Yeah.
that later.
So, I look at a strong economy and a strong transit or transportation model. They go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. The linkage between a vibrant place to work, live, and just be, one can't come without the other. We need to get employees and employers to their place of work. Strong transportation model is needed. The hand in hand for why we need to bolster the region's economic sustainability is the same vision and goals that we have for bolstering a transit and transportation network in this region.
Yeah. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
Anything you want to say?
Hi. No, I'm just kidding.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
No, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, good.
So you're with a whole bunch of other people in this video. Sherry Bell, David Screech, Dan Roshinsky.
I am going to get you to move 1 inch that way. Oh, perfect.
Former broadcaster.
I have a tendency to wiggle around, so if I
Do you?
start doing
Okay.
that, just tell me to
I'll
stop.
send you a signal. I'm recording.
Okay.
So, SIPP is based on collaboration. The model is built on collaboration. Why
Yes.
does that work so well?
We have a lot of different governments and a lot of different interests in this region. And I think we've proven over a long period of time that everyone acting in their own best interest doesn't raise the bar. So this is a better solution, having everyone think together about how to make this region more economically successful.
So let's go to that other question about that. Like how SIPP does what SIPP does, and the Chamber does what the Chamber does. There's a lot that's the same, but what's different about them? What's fundamentally different, you think, between the Chamber?
I would say the Chamber's strong suit is advocating on various public policy issues to government. So we like to speak for our membership and ask government to make changes that will benefit business. And we also very much focus on networking between businesses and events that will be of benefit to businesses. And I see SIPP as being a body that's managed to bring government to the table. So local governments are there with the other funding partners, and it's a collaborative way to solve problems rather than us making requests and government responding.
Yeah. So why is it important for the Chamber to be a member of SIPP?
Because SIPP's mandate is economic development in this region, and if there's one thing that is a fundamental requirement for a successful business community, it's a functioning economy. So we very much focus on how do we attract and retain workers in this low unemployment economy that we have. Do we have affordable housing? Do we have good transportation? Do we have an attractive lifestyle? And all of those are elements of a very good functioning economy. So every business benefits when you have a strong economy.
Cool. And then the final question. You've been engaged with SIPP from day one. You've seen
Yes.
lots of things happen. What's been the one thing that really you got a charge out of it, that you thought was really cool and that was the real resonant point for you?
Well, I'm a transportation junkie, being the chair of BC Transit and having done a lot of consulting work on transportation issues, and especially public transit issues. So I am thrilled with the success of the Smart Cities application and its focus on transportation, that we're on the short list, that it has been a textbook case of collaboration between a whole bunch of big players in this region, and we've nailed it. I think it's a fantastic application.
Are we smart enough right now?
Are we smart enough right now? I assume, like, what does Emily say? It's not about, what does she has a saying about that? It's not about whether you're smart. What's that saying? Do you know what it is?
No.
Okay, she's got a good saying about that. It's, are we smart enough to use the technology available, not whether we're smart people. And I'm saying it completely wrong. But the point is, I think the whole Smart Cities focus is how do we as a smart population make the most of the technology available to us to up our game.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was too. I don't have it here, but I'll get her to say it on camera.
Yeah, okay.
Put you on clip after that. So that'll
Sounds
work.
good. What she said.
Yeah. Anything you want to say? Anything you want to add that I didn't ask you?
It's been, there was it's been interesting watching SIPP develop. So it was a very intense startup year, as any organization of substance will have, a very intense startup year. I think SIPP is hitting its stride now. The focus on the Smart Cities competition, again, has been a really good focal point, drawn a lot of people to a common goal and outcome. One of the curses of economic development is it means a different thing to every single business and government and individual. So to have that competition on that topic as a focal point, I think has really drawn a whole bunch of players together with a common purpose, and SIPP is really hitting its stride.
I'm good. Are you good?
I'm good.
Thank you.
Too long? Too
No,
long
thank you.
answers?
Oh.